It didn't break the internet with a scream. It slipped in quietly, the kind of moment that feels small until you realize everyone is suddenly talking about the same thing. Travis Scott didn't name names. He didn't point fingers. But the second that clip surfaced, fans felt it instantly. Because Travis Scott doesn't move carelessly. And when Travis Scott seems to pause, people listen. The conversation turned fast, and one name kept coming up again and again: Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet, the Hollywood favorite. Timothée Chalamet, the man now linked to Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner, Travis Scott's past. Kylie Jenner, the center of an era that never really got closure. Fans started replaying the moment, whispering Travis Scott's name in the comments, pairing it with Timothée Chalamet, dragging Kylie Jenner right back into a story people thought was finished. Was Travis Scott reacting? Was Timothée Chalamet the message? Was Kylie Jenner the reason silence suddenly felt so loud? No confirmation came. No denial followed. Just Travis Scott letting the moment breathe, while Timothée Chalamet stayed quiet and Kylie Jenner kept moving forward. That's what made it terrifyingly effective, because when three names this big collide without a single word being spoken, the tension writes itself. When Travis Scott goes quiet, people notice. But when that silence is interrupted by a moment that feels intentional, it becomes something else entirely. This wasn't a public statement. It wasn't an interview. It wasn't even a clear reference. It was a fragment, small enough to deny, sharp enough to cut. Fans immediately sensed that something was off. Because Travis Scott doesn't react impulsively. He doesn't chase narratives or correct rumors. Historically, when his personal life becomes public conversation, he disappears deeper into his work. That's been his pattern. So when this moment surfaced, it felt like a deviation. Not loud, not emotional, just placed. The internet thrives on placement. Timing became the first red flag. The clip emerged during a period when Kylie Jenner's name had once again returned to headlines, this time tied closely to Timothée Chalamet. Fans didn't need confirmation, they already had context. They remembered the years Travis and Kylie were inseparable yet undefined. The family, the appearances, the quiet separation that never came with closure. And that's the thing about unfinished stories, they linger. People began asking why now? Why this phrasing? Why this energy? Why this moment of all moments when Travis could have chosen silence as he always had before? Screens were paused, clips slowed down, comments multiplied. This doesn't feel accidental. He's saying something without saying it. That line hits different knowing who Kylie is with now. Whether accurate or not, the reaction itself became the story. Because perception is currency. What made this even more compelling was what didn't happen next. No cleanup, no clarification. No attempt to redirect attention. Travis let the moment exist on its own. And in today's celebrity ecosystem, that choice carries weight. Meanwhile, Kylie Jenner remained visibly unbothered. Public appearances continued. Brand moves stayed on track. And Timothée Chalamet, arguably the most unexpected piece of this triangle, stayed completely silent. That silence created contrast. Travis, indirectly expressive. Kylie, forward-moving. Timothée, untouched by the noise. And fans read meaning into every layer. This wasn't framed as jealousy. It wasn't framed as rivalry. It was framed as recognition. Recognition that something had changed, and maybe something unresolved had resurfaced. By the end of the day, what started as a brief moment had evolved into a conversation about identity, replacement, and what it means when one chapter ends without explanation and another begins under brighter lights. The silence had done its job. The internet doesn't invent stories, it amplifies patterns. And fans believe they've seen this pattern before. Travis Scott's relationship with Kylie Jenner was never conventional. It existed in fragments, appearances without labels, family without formal definition, separation without announcement. That ambiguity trained the audience to read between the lines. So when Travis delivered a moment that felt emotionally coded, fans did what they'd been conditioned to do: interpret. The key word here is felt. Nothing explicit was said, but tone matters, delivery matters, context matters. And in celebrity culture, subtext often travels faster than truth. Fans pointed out how Travis's language historically shifts when he's processing something personal. Less aggressive, more reflective, more restrained. The moment in question matched that pattern closely enough to raise eyebrows. Then came the comparisons. Timothée Chalamet represents a completely different archetype: prestigious roles, controlled interviews, a carefully curated public image that contrasts sharply with Travis's raw, chaotic, performance-driven persona. To fans, this wasn't just about two men, it was about two worlds. And Kylie Jenner sits right at the intersection. For years, Kylie's image aligned closely with Travis's: music, festivals, aesthetic minimalism, privacy. Her current public direction signals a pivot: more visibility, more crossover, more alignment with traditional Hollywood prestige. Fans interpreted Travis's moment as a response to that pivot. Not anger, not mockery, but distance. Almost like acknowledgement that the version of Kylie he knew no longer exists, or no longer exists for him. And that idea resonated deeply with audiences who have followed this story for years. What intensified speculation was the lack of denial. In the past, when rumors crossed lines, representatives stepped in. This time, there was nothing. No statement, no clarification, just time passing and the clip continuing to circulate. Timothée Chalamet's silence added another layer. By saying nothing, he remained untouched by the narrative. Some fans saw this as confidence. Others saw it as strategic distance. Either way, his lack of engagement kept the focus squarely on Travis and Kylie herself. She didn't acknowledge the moment at all. That absence spoke volumes to fans who believe she's mastered the art of selective visibility. When she responds, it's intentional. When she doesn't, it's equally deliberate. So the internet filled the gaps. Was this Travis processing closure? Was it commentary on being replaced? Or was it simply expression being misread? The truth may never be confirmed. But in the economy of attention, certainty isn't required, only plausibility. And this moment had just enough plausibility to ignite everything. At its core, this isn't a love triangle story. It's a power story. Who controls the narrative when relationships dissolve quietly? Who defines meaning when nothing is said? And who benefits when ambiguity drives conversation? Travis Scott's power has always come from restraint. He rarely explains himself, allowing fans to project emotion onto his work. That strategy builds mystique, but it also invites interpretation. In this case, that interpretation exploded beyond his control. Kylie Jenner's power lies in reinvention. She moves forward without addressing the past, letting evolution speak louder than explanation. That forward motion makes moments like this feel asymmetrical, one person reflecting, the other progressing. Timothée Chalamet's power is detachment. By not engaging, he avoids becoming part of the narrative altogether. Silence, in his case, functions as insulation. Together, these dynamics created a perfect storm. Not because of drama, but because of contrast. The internet thrives on contrast. Raw vs polished, past vs future, unspoken vs visible. This moment became symbolic of all of it. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Even if nothing was intended, the reaction was inevitable. When three high-profile names with unresolved history intersect, meaning will be assigned. That's not speculation. That's audience behavior. The bigger implication is this: celebrity culture no longer requires confirmation. Interpretation is enough. Silence is enough. A pause is enough. And once a narrative starts moving, stopping it often makes it stronger. This story may fade, or it may resurface in another form, another lyric, another appearance, another quiet moment that fans decide matters. But one thing is clear: this wasn't ignored. It reopened conversations about closure, replacement, and what it feels like to watch someone move on publicly while you remain silent. And whether Travis meant to send a message or not, the audience received one. In today's culture, that's all it takes. And this is where the story stops being about one moment and starts being about what it reveals. Because when you strip away the headlines, the fan theories, the slowed-down clips and comment wars, what you're really watching is how power works in modern celebrity culture. Not power through shouting, not power through denial, but power through restraint. Travis Scott didn't clarify anything. He didn't walk it back. He didn't lean into the speculation or shut it down. He let the moment exist exactly as it was, unfinished, ambiguous, and open to interpretation. And whether intentional or not, that choice handed the narrative to the audience. Because in today's media landscape, silence isn't empty. Silence is a canvas. Fans filled that canvas with years of unresolved context. with memories of a relationship that never had a clear ending, with the emotional weight of watching someone move forward publicly, while another remains distant and unreadable. That's why this moment landed, not because it was dramatic, but because it was familiar. Then there's Kylie Jenner. Kylie didn't respond. She didn't acknowledge the noise. She didn't pause her forward motion for even a second. And that in itself tells a story about reinvention, about choosing progress over explanation, about refusing to revisit chapters that no longer serve the present. To some fans, that reads as strength. To others, it feels cold. To many, it feels intentional. And then there's Timothée Chalamet, arguably the most fascinating piece of this entire situation. Not because of anything he said, but because of what he didn't say. He didn't engage. He didn't react. He didn't become part of the narrative at all. In doing nothing, he stayed untouched. And that contrast between expression, evolution, and detachment is what turned a fleeting moment into a full-blown cultural conversation. This isn't about who's right. It's not about who moved on first. It's not even about whether the shade was real. It's about how audiences respond when stories are left open-ended. Because humans hate unfinished narratives. We look for meaning. We search for intention. We project emotion where clarity is missing. And when celebrities leave gaps, especially celebrities with shared history, those gaps get filled fast. That's what happened here. And that's why this moment mattered. Not because it confirmed anything, but because it exposed how deeply people are still invested. How even years later, silence can reopen old conversations. How one subtle moment can revive an entire era in the public imagination. Now, here's the real question, and this is where you come in. Do you believe this was intentional? Or do you think fans read too much into a moment that was never meant to be anything more? Was this a quiet acknowledgement of the past? A subconscious reaction? Or just another example of how the internet turns ambiguity into narrative? Because your interpretation matters. Celebrity culture today isn't shaped by press releases. It's shaped by audience consensus. By what people agree feels real, even when nothing is confirmed. And every comment, every reaction, every debate helps decide which version of the story sticks. So now we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what you think that moment meant, or if it meant anything at all. Did the silence speak louder than words, or was it simply silence? If you enjoy deep dives like this, where we don't just repeat headlines but analyze the psychology behind them, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because stories like this don't end. They evolve. Today it's a pause. Tomorrow it could be a lyric. Next week, a public appearance. And when it happens, we'll be here to break it down. Without the noise, without the exaggeration, and without pretending speculation is fact. Until then, stay curious. Stay critical. And remember, sometimes the loudest statements are the ones that are never said.